Hey there, fourth graders. I hope you had a great spring break and are feeling recharged and ready to get back to remote learning. Today's math lesson is going to be a little bit of a review from last week where we were adding fractions. And so this video is going to be showing us some of the main things to keep an eye out for when we add fractions. So if you remember from the first video, when we add fractions, the only thing that we're going to be changing is our numerator. So in this first example here, I have 2/5 that are shaded in. So 2 of the 5 pieces are shaded in. So this fraction is 2/5, and I have a model to show it. 1, 2 out of 3, 4, 5 total pieces. And to the 2/5, I'm going to be adding 1/5 because 1 out of the 5 total pieces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total pieces, and 1 is shaded in. When we add fractions, we're only looking at the numerator because the parts of the whole is not changing. It is still broken into 5 total pieces. If I want to figure out how many total pieces will be shaded in, I have 1, 2. And to it, I'm adding 1 more fifth for a total of 3/5. So 2 plus 1 is 3, and the denominator does not change. So let's look at a few example questions here. This first example question, we have 3/9 plus 4/9. And again, I'm just going to be looking at the numerator. So 3 plus 4 is 7, and my denominator does not change. So 3/9 plus 4/9 is 7/9. In our second example question, we're adding 2/10 plus 5/10. Again, we just look at the numerator. 2 plus 5 is 7, and the denominator does not change. So 2/10 plus 5/10 is 7/10. Occasionally in fourth grade, we're going to be adding multiple fractions, more than 2 fractions together. And sometimes we'll have our numerator be greater than the denominator. And I'm going to show you what that looks like here. So again, I'm starting with the fraction 2/4, because 2 out of the 4 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 out of the 4 pieces are shaded in. Here I have 3/4, and here I have 1/4. Even though I'm adding multiple fractions here, the idea of only looking at the numerator does not change. So 2 plus 3 plus 1, and I have a model to show that as well. So 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 1 would be 6. 6, and my denominator does not change. 6/4. If I wanted to put that into a model using fraction strips here, I have 1 2/4 shaded in. I'm going to add 3 more to it, so 1, 2, 3. As you can see, I've already gone past 1 whole. I'm now into my second set of fraction strips that is indicating that I'm greater than 1 whole. I've already filled in 1 whole fraction bar, and I have 1 more fourth to add. So another visual to show that would be, here are 2/4 plus 3/4 plus 1 more fourth. I can put this last fourth together with my 3/4, and this is making 1 whole. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 4/4, and I know that that is 1 whole, and I have 2 more fourths. So Today I want to teach you two terms that we're going to start to use throughout the week and into next week. And as good mathematicians, we want to increase our math vocabulary and talk about something called an improper fraction. I'm going to write that down here. Improper fraction. And that's when our numerator is greater than the denominator. So here we had 6/4. This is an improper fraction because the numerator is larger than the denominator. But when I used those fraction strips just a moment ago, we saw something, or those fraction strips indicated that more than one whole was filled in. So another term that we're going to be using often is something called a mixed number. And that's when we have a whole number and a fraction. So here in this model, I have one whole that is filled in, but I also have a fraction shaded in. I have 2/4. 6/4 is the same as 1 2/4. Those are equivalent. However, one is considered an improper fraction because the numerator is greater than the denominator. And the other is considered a mixed number because it's made up of two parts. It's made up of a whole number and it's made up of a fraction. Okay, so when you add fractions today, sometimes the numerator will be smaller than the denominator. Just like this. Sometimes when you add fractions together, you'll have multiple sets of fractions, and it might give you an improper fraction, or it might give you a mixed number. But what we're really going to be focusing on today is when we add fractions, only look at the numerator, and our denominator does not change.